new video. It's time for a new life. Et voilà, et voilà, et voilà, et voilà, et voilà, et voilà, et voilà.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm really excited today to have an amazing interview with someone very nice. And first, we're going to start, as always, a little bit of housekeeping. So I see a lot of new names. T's also joined streaming. So please, when it comes to my chat, we all have an opinion and we all respect each other's opinion. Also, that is something new that I have added last week is we do not speak badly about other streamers. Otherwise, my mods will take care of you. My mods are very nice. It's Jojo, but I think Jojo is modding for T and Irish is modding for me today. We're sharing all our mods with everyone. Next thing I want to say is I forgot to do that last week. As you know, I try to promote on the other small channels. They as important as I am, even though I'm still a very small channel. So let's go. And this week I'm promoting It's Ganja Girl. She does something completely different and new, which I really like. And she's using artificial intelligence to analyze videos and comments. So if you haven't already subscribe to her channels and go and check out those videos. They're actually very well done. So I will remind you a little bit later. This week I'm promoting Ganja Girl. It's Ganja Girl. Sorry, guys. And here we go. Next thing, I don't want to make tea wait too long. Please don't forget, put in capital letters comment or question at the beginning so I can start the questions or comments to come back to you a bit later on. And that's it. So we'll introduce you to T, a voice down under. And here we go. Hi, T. Hi, how are you?
How you
So nice
going?
to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to this.
Normally, when I'm doing a live on my own, I try to say hello to everyone, which is not difficult.
Yeah.
When you don't have a lot of people watching at the same time. So if I don't do that today, I apologize. But we want to know you. That is something we haven't spoken about is how much time you have. I'm trying not to go over the 1.5 hours mark.
We'll see. No, I can't really do more than
much.
that. I can't do more than that because it is 9 o'clock at night here and I have to
Exactly.
get my boy to bed at some point.
So 9 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock here. Oh, so we have 7 hours difference. So
yes,
it wasn't
right.
too bad to to actually schedule it. We were gonna do it early on, but we didn't want to clash with Miriam, Scientology of North Copenhagen.
Yeah, she did a great protest. It's awesome.
What's going on? Yes, I'm Swiss French. No, I'm not French. I'm not French. It's not written here. I'm not French. I'm Swiss French.
Yeah. Yeah, Mad Drop Bear is he's one of my mods and someone I've protested with in the past. He's one of my crew, and he was saying, "Oh, where are you from? Where's your accent from?" So yeah, Swiss French.
Well, I accept when people say I have a French accent. It's when they tell me I have a German accent, which disturbs me a little bit. But fair enough, I spoke French at home, did school in German, so it is normal if you get both accents. I just don't hear it.
I don't hear it. I hear French, and I actually hear a little bit of a Scottish twang sometimes.
Well, I've been here. what are we, 2025? So I've
We
been
are.
here
Yeah.
12 years.
Okay. Yeah.
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 But if I would like to do stuff, I have to think about, going up to and kick and, I
Yeah.
think about the things. So, yeah. But we're going to stop talking about me. It's not about me, even though I like talking about myself. It's
Yeah,
all
we're
about
getting to know each other. We can talk about you as well. I want to know about you.
Yay. Well, we can do it in the other way one day
Yeah,
when
sure.
I'm more important.
Oh, don't say that. We are all important.
Mm.
But yeah, no, it's definitely nice to meet you, and I've been looking forward to it. You
Well,
do some
and
lovely
as
work.
well, for the ones who don't know, I'm Australian as well, even though
Yeah.
I was 18 months old when my parents decided to come back to Europe. So I've never been
So
back.
nice.
So
So so do you have 3 passports or 2? Or 1?
by Swiss law, I'm allowed to have two, but I have actually three. So
Awesome.
by birth, I'm Belgian from my father's side.
Okay.
When we moved from Belgium to Switzerland, and my mom is Swiss, she made us Swiss.
Yeah.
I have both nationalities. But
So what do you
because I
call
was
that?
born in Australia, I'm allowed
Yeah.
and entitled to that passport too.
So
So I
you're a
have that
triple
too.
citizen. And what about UK as well? Do you need to have a passport to stay in the UK, like a residency, or is it?
Since Brexit, no, before not, but since Brexit, you need to have a settled agreement. So because when was that, about 4 or 5 years ago, my
Yeah.
settlement agreement went through easily. It's like I'm British or a British citizen,
Yeah. Okay.
um, because I was here already
Resident.
so long. I've been here 26 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm practically part of the furniture.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I'd love to have 3 passports. I've only got 1, but I'm entitled to an Australian one as well. I got my citizenship about 6 weeks ago.
Oh,
Um,
really?
Yeah, there was a whole mess up, and I had to appeal and all sorts of stuff. It was going on for years, and they changed the rules just before I applied and all sorts of stuff. But I've been here nearly 15 years. So yeah,
Right.
but I was actually born in Scotland. So
Oh,
I
you
am
were?
Scottish. Yeah, I'm Scottish. I used to have a Scottish accent. I lived there till I was 14.
Where
And
in
then
Scotland?
in Glasgow as well, and
In-
I had a Glaswegian accent. Believe it or not, I did.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's a
and
tough accent. My
it's gone.
mother-in-law had a Glaswegian accent, and the first year I just looked at her like I didn't know what she was saying. I was like, and my father-in-law was from Edinburgh, so it wasn't so difficult to understand him. So he said, "Do you don't understand what she's saying?" I was like, "No clue."
Oh, you just got to like pick out words, I guess. Like this is what someone said the other day. Pick out the words you do understand and just make up the rest and figure it
Yeah,
out
but
like
you
that.
know what I did? Because luckily I like him. You know the comedian Billy Connolly, he's from
Yes.
Glasgow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I watched a lot of his comedy, and to get the
You
ear
learn the
of his
language.
accent, and that helped a lot to
Yeah, that's
to
a good idea.
actually understand my mother-in-law.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I was born in Scotland, and then my mum and dad got divorced. My mum had an affair with the driving instructor. She went down to the south coast of England. She couldn't get any further away from him. And then yeah, there was a big custody battle and everything, and I had to go and live with my mum against my wishes. Because I loved Scotland. I was very proud Scot, and then yeah, I had to go and live in England, and then I was getting bullied at school for being a jock. So I put on an English accent, and it just stuck, and I lost my Scottish accent within a year. And then sometimes, when I'd go up and visit and see my dad, it would come back. But like just over the years, and since I've been in Australia, yeah, it's totally
But
gone. And now,
I think if you would come to Edinburgh and you hear the accent,
yeah,
um, And I always say, because I'm divorced, but I always say that's probably why I married my husband. It's because of the accent. But for example, my dad was from Belgium, and every year when we went back to go and visit my grandparents, we automatically, I couldn't hear it, but automatically we took on the Belgian accent,
Right.
the
Yeah.
French Belgian accent.
Yeah.
So I think it's all in the ear.
Yeah. 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 I do a little bit, when I go up there, I'll be like, I and we, and I guess it does come back a little bit. But yeah. I wish I hadn't lost it though.
The first 6 months I was here, I was working, and my ex-husband was not working, and he used to call me at work and said, "Do you want your tattoos with this?" And I always said yes, because I had no clue what he was talking about. And 6 months later, I realized, oh, we have tattoos nearly every time. So I realized, oh, it's potato.
That's what you meant. Yeah. So you were getting your carb fix then. I just want to say quickly, thank you so much to Irish for gifting some memberships. That was very, very sweet and generous of you. I think that was to me, or was it to you?
Irish
Yeah,
is always very generous. Yes.
Yeah, she's lovely. And thank you, Indigo. You said my hair looks beautiful, and that's very sweet of you. I think, Joe, you complimented my hair. I sorted it out because I dyed it a few weeks ago and it went like white in the middle, and I don't know why. So I just went mad and bought loads of blue and just did it all again. So yeah, and hello to everyone else.
Is there a special brand you're using? Because I want to go back to pink.
Well, I've got very, very dark brown. If you can see there, it's like almost black. That's my natural color. So I have to pre-lighten it twice to get it to go like really, like almost white. And then I just put on a really bright blue. I put on a bright blue, like permanent one. And then I top it up with a semi-permanent that's even brighter. So it's high maintenance. And I think I'm kind of getting over it now. And I think I'll go back to natural.
I can go back to natural because I'm totally gray. I mean, if you see, this is the last bit of pink I had about a year ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Hey, Laura. How you doing?
Hi, Laura.
Is it the morning there now? Because it'll be CCHR protest.
Let me think. It's 2 o'clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. But Laura, I watched her live from last night, which I watched this morning when I woke up. There is the CCHR protest in LA. So
yeah, make sure you check Laura out, everyone. Definitely.
I suppose that's why Laura is up so early. And so that's important to check out. Yeah. And that made me actually check up the schedule of CCHR here in Edinburgh, because they protested last year and I didn't know it. So there's nothing going on.
No. They don't have enough people. They don't have enough people up there. Yeah.
No. The thing is that there's probably a lot of bad things going on in psychology, but it's not the way to do it. But they're just using psychology to get the word out and to recruit.
They cherry pick all the bad bits and they exaggerate them. So, for example, when I protested with Alex against CCHR in London last year, with Leanie as well, Leanie actually looked at the statistics, and what figure they said something like, 1 million people a year in the UK are getting electric shock treatment or whatever. She looked it up and the percentages and everything, and it worked out to be, I think, like 900 or something. So that's the level of the lies. And it's been, we went inside the museum thing and it's just horrendous. And there was people in there with their little kids and, all sorts of like really graphic, gross images. And it's all like barbaric stuff from decades and decades ago, like hundreds of years ago and stuff. And it's not like that anymore. Electric shock treatment's been refined and changed dramatically. And it is effective on many cases, or most cases, so that every industry messes up every now and then, you know. No one's perfect, but it's not as barbaric as they make it out to be. And it's scaremongering. And I think that obviously there's going to be people that have had some of these bad experiences and they're going to be like, oh yeah, you know, and get all riled up with them. But it's dangerous for people that actually need help with their mental health, you know. It is dangerous to be doing stuff like that. So yeah,
I totally agree, because it is a science that people have followed for decades and decades.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure there are still electroshock therapy somewhere,
there are.
and this needs to be removed. Hi, Mona. Thank you for joining
I
us.
don't agree. I don't agree with that, because I have a friend that's actually had a family member. They've had electric shock treatment, and it's saved him. It's really, really helped him. It's not like, you know, when you're biting down on something. It's not like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's you know, I think a lot of the time I think they might sedate you and stuff, and it's very, very short pulses. It's not like you know. It has been refined a lot and is very, very helpful in extreme cases, you know. It's not just something that's done willy-nilly. It's not something that's done without consent. It is something, there's a whole load of legal stuff that you have to go through in Australia anyway, and I believe in the UK, because our rules are similar, you know, with the Commonwealth. It's not something that can just be go down the doctors and get it prescribed, you know. There's a lot of stuff you have to go through to have it done. And it's people that are a danger to themselves and others and stuff like that, you know, or real severe, like suicidal depression and stuff like that, you know, schizophrenia. But it is very rare. I think Lara just said her friend in the Sea Org. Hang on, sorry, my friend also did it. He was in the Sea Org as a cadet, and she was in, and it helped her. So.
Oh yeah, I did start it. Yeah, I didn't mean it that harshly. I'm pretty sure if electroshock is used professionally and how it should be, then I don't think anyone will be harmed by it. But then, you know, it would be nice to be able to one day have someone, a psychologist that is using this kind of techniques, to come on any channel and talk about it, and make people understand that it's not like it was 50, 60, 70 years ago, you know, when that all started. I'm pretty sure that was too early to use electroshock, and probably at the time it was very badly used.
Oh, the stuff they used to do, you know, like lobotomies through the eye and all sorts of stuff like that. Like, times have changed, and, you know, there is science behind it, and there's no science behind Scientology. You know, where's the science? Why do people read Dianetics and just blindly believe it? Something out of somebody's imagination and stuff that he's pulled from other places, and they just believe it blindly. There's no science. There's no explanation of how he came to these conclusions, you know. Nothing. It's just blah blah blah, blah.
But I think that's why they have less and less people following them, because we all have Google. We all have access to Google and ask our questions. Practically every new laptop or computer has now on the operating system an artificial intelligence program that you can use as well. You can go on the internet, use ChatGPT, will answer you even better answer your question even better than Google IE. So, you know, if you're really interested, Google, use your IE program, and that will help you understand what is right and what is wrong.
I'm becoming reliant on ChatGPT at the moment, because I'm not too good at writing letters and emails and putting, like, I've got all the stuff in my head. Like, I'm not stupid, but there's so much going on in my head all the time that I can't seem to access it. You know, it's better since I've had the shots. Like, I'm a lot more, I don't know, I'm calmer, but I'm not, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm not on high alert. I'm not anxious, I guess. I'm not like stressed all the time like I was before. I feel like my brain's come back to life. And actually, yesterday I caught up with one of my sisters on WhatsApp, and she said, God, you sound different. She said, you almost sound like you were when you were younger, like the old you. And I was like, oh, that's so lovely to hear, you know. Yeah, she's saying you sound so much more relaxed, because I was just in a constant state of worry and just on edge all the time. You know, I'm putting so much pressure on myself and being so hard on myself. So I am so incredibly grateful for all the support and all the help and donations and stuff that I've had from everyone in this amazing community. I have to say it every time I come on, because it has changed my life, and it's going to continue to. I know it will. I have to put the hard work in. It's not a magic. Sorry, I just went off on this tangent.
No, go on. It's all
If
about
you I'll just sit here and talk to myself. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's I still have a lot of work to do. It doesn't like take away all the bad habits that I've developed, you know, I still have depression. I'm still addicted to screens. I still don't want to socialize, you know, and apart from on here, because it's safe, you know.
Yes.
I don't have any desire to go and hang out with the school mums and stuff, but I think that's just me anyway. Like,
I think that I don't know how old you are, and you don't have to tell. Perhaps if I was your age, school mums wouldn't be my cup of tea either.
I just don't. I'm 43, and I just don't fit in. I find their conversations so boring. Like, boring. Like, I don't care what you put in the school lunches, and like, I just, you know, I'd much rather and then like sit here with you guys and talk about, you know, like really hard stuff. Like, I hate small talk. I absolutely loathe small talk, where like you go, oh, you know, when you're at the checkout and you go, oh, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, how are you? And they're like, oh, good. And it's like the most pointless conversation. So they don't care how you are. And so sometimes I like to shock them and say, actually, I've had a really shit day. And they're like,
yeah, but I don't mind small talk in that sense, but because I'm on my own, and I've been on my own for years. So, you know, when, well, you know, Asda comes and drops off my shopping, I don't let the driver leave straight away. I'm gonna have my chat with him.
Oh no, I don't. I'll be like, just put it down and fuck off.
I mean, they're all very lovely, because Asda is the supermarket that is going slowly under. But the drivers are very nice, and they are happy to have a break. You know what I mean?
I'm not like that. I hate people knocking on my door. I'm a miserable bugger when it comes to stuff like that, you know. I just don't. I don't know. I just don't find it interesting. But and I don't. You know, I've had all my life where, like, I've had, you know, been in this sort of trauma state, like trauma after trauma after trauma, every decade, every kind of abuse you can imagine. And so I'm a talker. I talk about everything. I like to get it out. I'm an oversharer. I have ADHD. I tell everyone everything. If I meet someone and start talking to them, within 10 minutes, they know my entire life story. It doesn't matter. It could be the postman, the poor bloody... This is why I don't talk to people from Asda or whatever, because they walk away and I'm like, oh, fiddlesticks, I've done it again. I've just told him everything about me, you know? Like,
I'm exactly the same. You like my carbon copy, honestly.
I cringed at myself, and I'm like, that poor bloke, he was being polite, and he's gone off and got in his van to do his next delivery, and he's thinking, what the fuck was that all about? You know, people don't know what to do with me. But in this community, there just seems to be this kind of understanding, you know, that we're all misfits or whatever. We're all perfectly imperfect, and we've all got some kind of trauma, and I just love it. I love it. So I don't need the Asda man.
No, what I grew up with,
I respect you for that.
That was very outcoming. She's over friendly with people, and until I moved to the UK, I was actually the opposite of my mother. I just couldn't handle this kind of things. I was quite shy as well.
Yeah.
And shyness comes because I'm small. If I go into somewhere, I open the door, say a restaurant or pub or whatever, or a bar. It's like, time is still, it stops, and I feel like everyone is looking at me. And therefore, now it's different. I don't care anymore. But
Yeah.
in those days, in my early 20s, I would let my friends go in first and I would be behind them. Being small already was helpful in that sense.
Yeah.
But I learned to actually change that and to show them, you can look at me, you can like me, you can hate me. I don't
Ask me questions. Yeah. Come and ask me
care.
questions.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna be myself. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Because I don't need anyone to live my life.
That's it.
So
Yeah.
if you like me, good. And if I like you too, even better. If you don't like me and I like you, so be it.
Yeah.
There are much more worse things in the world
That's right.
than
Yeah.
that. You know,
You don't
there
want
are
to waste
people
your
out
life
there.
worrying. You don't want to waste your life worrying about what other people think,
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a question from Yolanda. Did you feel good after your therapy? Do you mean the shots? That's what I was just talking about. So I don't know if my
That's
chat's
probably
right.
what she means. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I feel like I did a whole video about it from like just before, and well, like I think it was a few days before and then an hour before or whatever, and day 1 and day 2 and stuff. And then I went really quiet and haven't said anything about it. So I think this is the first time I've spoken about it online since. I'm not sure. And I think it's been 5 or 6 weeks now. Hey, DOA, how you going? I think it's been 5 or 6 weeks now. Yeah, and I'm still not exercising and doing all the things I'm meant to do, but I definitely feel I guess, like, for example, if I try and think about my trauma now, my brain just kind of goes, yeah, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to stress about that. Like, I'm not like in bits on the floor crying and stuff anymore. And I'm actually been really working. I'm going through a historical abuse case at the moment. From my abuser 25 years ago. So last year, inspired by a couple of amazing people on YouTube, Miriam Francis being the main one, going after her abuser and stuff from a long time ago. I went, when I was in the UK, I got my sister and we went to the police station and I reported him. And
Well done.
sorry, well done.
Well done. The thing is, you see, is that lots of people, and just quickly, hi Scott, thank you for joining us.
I just realized, mate. Yeah.
I don't want to put men in a bad light, but mainly men who, even though men can be abused as well, we don't have to forget that, don't seem to understand that when someone comes to a police station and report abuse, that it's important to listen and to believe until proven otherwise. And also, lots of people are always questioning, why are you coming forward so many years after? And
Well,
it's
I'll tell you. I can
fear,
tell you
right?
exactly. Yeah, well, he actually. So I was 17 when this abuse went on, and it was for 3 years. And so I was disconnected from my family, like I was isolated in the middle of nowhere in this little cottage. I wasn't allowed to speak to anyone. There was no mobile phones back then. This is in the 90s, and so he'd unplug the house phone and take it with him. He would go out and then go to work. And because it was in the middle of nowhere, if I tried to leave, the amount of time it would take to get there, like I was worried, he'd come back, he'd leave to go to work. And then sometimes every now and then he'd come back like 10 minutes later or 5 minutes later, just to put that thought in my head. I could come back at any minute, I won't go into too much detail. I've got all my story on mental health matters, but I see I've gone on a tangent. Oh, sorry. The reason I didn't report it, yeah, obviously I was very scared. But what he actually did, which was very tricky and I guess a bit clever, was after a couple of years, he actually, because he was very violent. He took me down the police station. He'd beaten me up once, and he took me down the police station, and he told me to tell the police that I'd been raped, like to lie to the police and say that. So I did, because I was absolutely terrified of him.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he got me to admit that I was lying. So that made me. Then he goes, "See, they won't trust you. They won't trust you if you come and say anything about me." So I was absolutely terrified, and I was young, and I actually ended up escaping by. I had a couple of really beautiful Portuguese girls helped me. He allowed me to have a job because his dad was driving me to and from work. So he knew that's where I was going, because he was always very paranoid about where I was going and all this. So I was working at a hotel cleaning rooms, because he used to just take all my wages off me, But he didn't know that I was getting tips for cleaning. So they leave like a couple of pound coins or whatever. Yeah. So I was giving all my money to these girls and saved up for a flight to Portugal, and they helped me escape. And I left my passport with them. And I flew off to Portugal, and that's how I escaped from him. Yeah. Wow. So then I spent a lot of time drinking for many years, and I guess blocking it out or whatever. And then I moved to Australia. Got on with life and everything, but unresolved trauma, it stays there, I believe. And then that was one abusive relationship. That was the worst, but there was trauma before that. There's just trauma after trauma after trauma. Then the love of my life died, and I have his son, and all sorts. And that was 10 years ago last month, actually. I can't believe it. But just constant, one after another, and it compacts, And I just got to a point where 4 years ago I just had a breakdown. My body just gave up on me, because it becomes a physical thing.
I understand, because even though being a small person, my mother is also a person of small stature. I have a completely different character to my mother. And so I've always been strong. I found my apprenticeship on my own when I was 16. I did everything on my own. I never asked my parents for help in that sense, because I saw what my parents achieved in life, even though they didn't earn millions, but we were comfortable. And therefore, I went through life like a bulldozer, And so therefore, in my professional life, I was perceived as aggressive and rude.
Ooh, feisty, Brigitte.
Honest. Yeah, but when you're in your 20s, you say, "Oh well, I'm just honest." But you haven't learned.
In my 20s, Brigitte, I was an absolute bitch. I'll put my hands up. I was a pisshead bitch.
I wasn't the bitch in that sense. I was just honest. I just didn't know how to beautify my honesty so that the other person didn't perceive it as being nasty or whatever. And I also noticed that when I ask someone for a favor, that if I didn't want to wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I was a bit more, in your face, it was done straight away. So I continued until someone, a boss, told me, you need to come So I've always been very strong, and that's my character. And Steve, when I moved to the UK, within not even a month, I met Steve. We were together for 5 years. We were meant to get married, and he passed away of cancer.
Sorry.
That didn't even deter me. In the past, my dad passed away when I was 22. My brother and I looked after our mom. I took my mom out all the time with all my gay friends. She was
Yeah.
always so much more fun than I was, actually.
I used to live in
And
Brighton and I'd go out gay clubbing and I absolutely loved it. It's so much fun.
I have to say, I came to London when I was 20 to learn better English and do my Cambridge certificate and everything. And I met gay guys in school.
Yeah.
And I think I went to school properly and very seriously for 2 months. And then I knew all the gay clubs in London. And I
Yes.
was very well known.
I don't think you're allowed to say it these days, but this is the name that my gay friends gave me, or it was a saying that they would say. They called me a fag hag. Have you heard that expression before? You know, like, because they'd all come around my house and we'd do each other's makeup and, you know, like, and I did a course as a nail technician back then. So I was giving them all manicures and pedicures and yeah, loved it.
Well, there was a club in London. Actually, I need to double check if it actually still exists. It was in Kensington in London, and it was the top roof of a building with a shopping center inside.
Okay.
And so you have the disco, well, the club at the top on the roof. And you have gardens and you had flamingos walking around and ducks, and it was amazing. And it was only open on Sundays for the gay community, and therefore you paid a certain amount and you had your first drink for free, and there
Yeah.
was a dinner buffet. So as
Ooh.
students, it
I've
was
got my
great.
son here. Sorry. I'm just going to quickly ask him what he wants. Hang on. Whoops. How do you pause it?
Okay.
I know, it's just, I think you just want some attention. You can say hello if you want, but you have to just not show your face.
Hello.
No?
No.
You can put your hand in and wave if you want. He's pulling the silliest faces. I think he's just trying to put me off. Go away. Go and see if the cat's all right. Go on. Go and have. There's a cookies in the drawer. Hang on a minute. Oh, God. How do I stop it from working? Sorry, guys.
I can't hear you, T. Okay, what you doing, Baxter? It's crazy, dog. You don't want to come and say hello?
Sorry, I'm back on.
No. Hi.
His iPad ran out. Like, we'll just go and bloody just plug it in then. It's 20 to 10, you know. He's very lucky having a late night, but yeah. Oh no, but you can't keep annoying me though, darling, because we're doing an interview. Okay, seriously. Hang on 1 sec.
Joe was saying what? Jojo, I just saw something you said to me. The Polo Lounge is great in Glasgow, Bridget. You know, I can't go clubbing anymore. I can't dance. My legs are too bad.
Sorry about that. I think he's all right now. Bless him.
Jojo was asking you, did you ever go to the Polo Lounge? That's a great place in Glasgow.
I have never been out in Glasgow. Never. Because I left when I was 14. So I've never ever been out. Yeah. So we're going to have to go out when I come over. Definitely. Maybe we'll go to the Polo Lounge.
I told my doctor already. I said, look, for me to be able to go protesting down in England in October, you need to do something with my legs. Either chop them off and put me in a wheelchair or something. But do something, because there are days where I can't stand very long. So this is a little bit of a worry for me at the moment. But I really want to come and meet you. And you said you come to Scotland as well.
Oh,
So
we'll
that
definitely be coming up to Scotland. Yeah, so we'll come and see you.
yeah,
We'll come
yeah, and
We'll
Jojo
bring a
and
wheelchair. We'll bring a wheelchair, right? And we'll wheel you up to Edinburgh Org. Hello,
well,
T.
yeah.
There's another T here. Sorry, just yeah. So your name's Tanya or Tanya. All right, cool. Just so people think it's not a fake T. It's not the fake T. It's not the fake T.
It's Tanya T.
Yeah.
Tanya.
Don't start all the abusing emails again. It's okay. that was crazy. Yeah. Where were we? Sorry.
Just says, "Oh, I have been out a time or two in Glasgow, and the good old Celtic match. Oh, I can't stand football, so not for me."
I won't talk about Scottish football with my Scottish friends because
No.
you know there's a big
Well,
big
you have
divide.
the Celtics, you have the Rangers, and that's about it. And one is from Glasgow, the other's from Edinburgh, and that clashes.
Yes. Well, there's areas in Glasgow and stuff where you can't wear them. You know, some used to be anyway when I was younger, where you can't wear the certain colour. You know. Yeah. It is literally religion football there, so you know.
Oh, it is very much so. I mean,
Yes.
well, I have to say Switzerland as well, even though in Switzerland, the football players, the national football players are not professionals.
Okay.
They're semi-professionals. In Switzerland, they have to have a job as well. So
Right.
they're only professional footballers if they play for a team outside Switzerland. Now, when I say that, that is how it was 26 years ago when I left Switzerland. I don't know if that's still the case.
Well, my son loves Switzerland and he wants to go there, and he tells me all these random facts. So, is it true? You can confirm.
Okay.
Is it true that they've made it so that it's mandatory to have a bunker under your house?
Not every house or building has a bunker, but I mean, it's not mandatory, but it's in the culture to have. So I
Yeah.
remember about 30 or so years ago, my mother said, "Oh, I was listening to French radio, so from France, and they were saying if there's ever another world war, only the Swiss will survive because they will have all these places to go to." So
That's what my son says.
if it's
Yeah.
not a new building, you have in the area where you live, it quite quickly you can get to a bunker.
There's caves and stuff. He said there's secret caves, and there's and there used to be like guns hidden behind like fake boulders and stuff.
It's not untrue. It is a chain of mountains which is called the Gotthard, and the Gotthard is actually hollow.
Yeah.
So until I don't know how many years ago, I saw a documentary. It's actually on YouTube. I need to find it, where the Swiss Army pilot were the best in the world because they knew how to fly into these mountains.
Yeah.
And they were the pilots that were actually training the best pilots in the world, like the American pilots, etc.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, inside this mountain chain, there was everything in there in case something would happen, even though Switzerland is a neutral country, and they were not a part, or they didn't play a big part in the Second World War. I mean, in fighting part, even though they were actually, Zurich was bombarded by mistake.
Okay. Yeah.
And obviously, everyone knows about the Nazis hiding money in Swiss banks, the Jewish hiding their money in Swiss banks,
Yeah.
etc., etc. I did my apprenticeship in a Swiss bank, and we were targeted a lot, and we were
Okay.
just employees. Yeah,
Wow.
a lot.
Targeted by who? Who were you
Huh?
targeted by?
Sorry.
Who were you targeted by? Like
Uh,
robbers or like bank robbers?
well, there were stories about that the Swiss banks, and we have a bank.
You mean in the past? I thought you meant you were targeted while you were there. Or
When I was working there, employees were targeted by some activist groups about the Jewish money. Obviously, the banks were sitting on this money, but if you don't know how far you're gonna go back to find the survivors or the newer generation to these people to give them the money, and
yeah.
so the banks were stealing, the employees were at the same time bad because they were working for this bank. It was a big thing in the late 80s, early 90s. So it was sometimes quite difficult to work in companies like that. Then I worked for Shell, and we had the same with Greenpeace, who
Mm-hmm.
targeted the employees instead of targeting the
Greenpeace.
company. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I like that. Sorry. Wait, where's it gone? Oh, wait, it's not that. It's going too fast.
Yeah.
I'm not a ninja, but I have a Swiss Army knife. The best invention in the world, honestly.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
They're very expensive as well.
Yeah.
It depends, how big or how much stuff you want on it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a lot of things. I mean, lots of people don't go to Switzerland on holidays because they feel like it's expensive. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I'd
it
love to go.
is a little bit, but it's the country that is actually rich. The people are not rich. We
Okay.
hardly own our own homes in Switzerland.
Oh,
We all
really?
live in
Okay.
flats. We all rent unless you have inherited a family home, or the people. I mean, getting a mortgage like you get it in Australia or here in the UK, which is quite facilitated in a way. In
Hmm.
Switzerland, you nearly have to be rich to get a mortgage.
Yeah, right.
So,
Well, I think it's like that everywhere at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. My sister just got a mortgage, so she's doing well in the UK as well. So good on her. Yeah. Just seeing some of the
Hagi
comments.
Pasha has a Swiss Army knife too.
I think like everyone just go out and get Swiss Army knives in the 90s for some reason. I don't know. It must have been a movie or something. I don't know. But I remember
The only
everyone.
problem now is that you can't travel with your Swiss Army knife since
Oh, yeah.
9/11. So,
Yeah.
security wise in airports, they will take it away. So don't ever travel with it, especially if you have an
No.
expensive one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, but you can tell your son if he has more questions about Switzerland or things like that to
Yeah.
let me know. I'm quite happy to answer it.
Oh, thank you. I'll let him know. That was last year, but he'd be interested to know that they don't all have bunkers. So I'll tell him that.
No, I think it
He just
depends
went, I
how
can
old,
hear you.
it depends how old some of the buildings are.
Okay.
Buildings with flats in it. It depends how old they are. I
Any
think
questions? No. Oh dear. He's 11 going on 17 at the moment, Oh, bless him. Yeah, so I don't know where we got up to with the story, but I saw the miserable stuff out of the way, and I'm doing really well since the shots and stuff. I still need to work on a few things, like starting to exercise and things like that. But
you skipped 12.
12?
You said 13, not 12.
What?
You said turning.
No, I said you're 11 turning 16, 17.
Six.
So like
17. What?
no, just mind your nose.
That's it.
11 going on 17, which means you're an 11-year-old that thinks he's 17. Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
13 or
Go away.
17.
I'm so sorry, guys. Go away. Go on.
Bonk.
Anyway. Hey, Powerlines, how you going? Haven't seen you for a while, mate. Yeah, so anyway, so I ended up in Australia and stuff, and then yeah, I've always kind of been a helper, a talker, a listener, and then I first found out about Scientology when Jenna's book came out, I think. But one of my friends almost got recruited in the 90s when she went to LA. And she told me about it, and I was like, "Oh my God, you could have been in it." But yeah, Jenna's book really, really shocked me. I just thought this poor little kid, and just the repetitiveness, and it was just I just found it absolutely shocking. And then I sort of went down the whole rabbit hole of finding out all of that sort of stuff, and then the human trafficking stuff and the stuff going on with the kids and that. And I ended up kind of actually being a bit of an activist and involved in the exposing PDF file rings, and working behind the scenes with people to help kind of expose them. So I was doing that for a few years online, not on YouTube. And yeah, been in some very, very dark places with that, and finding out absolutely, you can imagine, horrendous stuff that whatever you think it is, it's a lot worse. I've had friends that have worked in the what do you call it, computer hacking and stuff like that, where they, and most of them have PTSD from working in that field. So it's started off with that. And then I don't know how I ended up coming back round to Scientology. I think it was probably through, how did I find it? I think it was Andrew Gold I saw. And then I went to Aaron, and then the whole community and stuff. And that was in November 23, it would have been, I think. Yeah. We're in 25 now, aren't we? And so I've done over a year I've been in this community. Yeah, I think it was just before Doug passed away, but I didn't know about Doug until he passed away. I did. I don't think I found out until a while after he passed, because I didn't really hear a lot about it. There was only a couple of people. I was talking about that on Miriam's stream earlier, actually. I think it was Miriam's stream. Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I'm losing it. But yeah, so yeah. I found out there was an org in Perth, and I went down there. I went in undercover. I put on a Scottish accent, and I did my makeup and my hair differently, and I called myself after my dad's wife, who I don't particularly like. Sorry to my step siblings if you're watching. I won't call her my stepmom. I'll just call her my dad's wife. But he passed away 6 months ago. Anyway, so I called myself Sheena. May or may not have given her address as well. She's moved house now, though, so it's okay. So, you've got to get revenge somehow, Anyway, no, she's done some really, really nasty stuff, like narcissistic stuff. So went in undercover, and they called. I accidentally streamed live while I was in there, and OSA was called, and they said, "Oh, can you come to the front desk? Someone needs to talk to you on the phone. Security needs to talk to you on the phone." And it was OSA from Sydney, and the first thing he said was, do you know the law? And I was like, in regards to what? And it was a really, really odd conversation, but he was just trying to intimidate me. He was quite rude. And he was just trying to like asking me what my name is. And I'm like, I obviously gave a fake name, but like, and then he was going, you must have a video on your phone. Show your phone to the staff member. I was like, I'm not showing her what's on my phone. I don't have to do that, you know. And I wasn't, I think I must have pressed live. He was saying I was live on TikTok. And at that point, I'd never been live on TikTok. So it was really weird because if I was live, it would have been on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so it was really, he was just weird. It's bizarre. So anyway, then they said, oh, we're going to phone the police, blah, blah, blah. So then I had some friends waiting outside. And I thought, I'm not going to hang around for the police. And we just went down the pub. And then obviously I've gone back since then and I've protested a few times. But there's not really anyone else in Perth that can join me. And it's very, very, very quiet here. And I'm guessing around 40, 50 members maximum public. There's no Sea Org. It's a family-run org. So they got you've got like the dad, the stepmom, 2 daughters, and I think there's 1 or 2 sons. And there's just not really that much action. I've had a conversation with a couple of publics, and planted some seeds. One of them was well, actually, it wasn't me. There was another person called the Scientology Watcher, but she doesn't stream anymore. She had a conversation with a Scientologist, and she said, you know that it's all when you get up the levels and stuff, you're going to learn about aliens and Xenu. And he said we told him all this stuff, and he was like, oh my God, what have I been doing? He's going, all that money, what have I done? You know? And so I hope that he wasn't like messing around with us, and he, you know, realized like, oh shit, it's all a con. And then another time I had a really good conversation for about a good 20 minutes with this guy. And he was, he'd been going around handing out, the drug-free world leaflets, like going around and knocking on people's doors and educating them, you know. And so I sat there and I said, you know, I told him Serge's story. I told him Miriam France's story. And he was just like in such denial and doing all this mental gymnastics of how it's okay and what's true for you is true for you. He kept saying that. And he was like, how do you know it's true? And I'm like, because why would he make that up? You know? And well, what's true for me is true for me. And I said, that's a bloody cop-out, mate, you know? Like, it's not okay. And I was like, we're here because we don't think it's not okay for children to be audited and for children to be trained as auditors. And he's like, why? And I said, because they're not big beings in small families. Small families. Sorry, I read the word. Where does that even happen? I read the word cousins and then it turned into families in my head. Sorry. They are not big beings in small bodies. And he went, what do you mean? He goes, do you believe in spiritual beings? And I said, no, I don't, because I don't believe in anything. I'm not spiritual at all. And he was just, I don't know, he was doing all this and then my phone battery ran out and the police came and so every time I've been there, they phoned the police. They've lied to the police and said that I was in the building when I wasn't. And I'm like, well, that's just silly because I'm filming it all, you know, because it's very important to film everything, you know, just for your own safety, for proof. And really, you know, I don't really like going there on my own, but I don't have a choice. And I think that's why I don't go down there very often, you know, because it's only like 15, 20 minutes.
Something I was going to ask you, because I think that a lot of people do that on their own. And I'm always worried about what could happen. But there are some that look, for example, he's a very good example, MD Media, Mount in LA. I'm not worried about him because he's so friendly with everyone. He's not aggressive. He shares love, etc. Scientology has nothing. They can't use anything against him. And it's all on bloody YouTube. So, you know, I think for him, I'm not worried about him, but there are others that I wish they would be a bit more careful and don't go out alone.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much, I'm not scared of anything. I'm actually, believe it or not, quite a shy person. Or maybe I'm not.
Really?
I don't know. I mean, I feel, I mean, I did that whole performance as an actress and went in, I had a whole character, and I went in there and they sat there and told me about about the purification. They said it has a 98% success rate, which was absolute bullshit, as we know.
Okay.
But I went in there telling them all about my nephew who lives in Scotland and he's a heroin addict. I made up this whole entire story. And I don't know, I think it was just pure adrenaline that got me through it all and everything. But my friends were outside. I wouldn't have done that if I was on my own. So I just feel a lot more confident with someone there, but I'm not scared of anything, if you know what I mean. So I don't know. I do want to go out there. Yeah, I just need to do it. But I do a lot of other things behind the scenes. I've done a lot of stuff for other countries online, especially African countries, Asian countries and stuff like that. I spend a lot of time communicating with people, educating people, and I've had a lot of success with that. Maybe like 1 in 10 will actually answer and be receptive to what I'm saying. You know, I'm always very polite and say, hey, did you know this about Scientology? Because I'll see if someone puts up a post or something like that, I'll private message them and I'll say, did you know that Youth for Human Rights, this, that, and the other, and I'll send them examples. And I've been talking to someone in Taiwan lately who left Scientology after 15 years, and he had a complete mental breakdown. He couldn't walk. He couldn't think. He was like a vegetable. And he was convinced that he was an SP, and it just destroyed him, you know? And I've been talking to him, which is really important for the Down Under, I'll say movement, but really it's me and a handful of other people, but I'm the only one that's kind of doing the YouTube thing. Taiwan is actually one of their main recruiting grounds for Australia, because the headquarters of Australia, Aosh Anzo, runs the whole of, you know, Australia, New Zealand, the Pacific, and Asia, all the way up to India. That's where the line cuts off. And 50% of the staff in Australia is Taiwanese, you know, so, and they have 15 buildings in Taiwan. So there's a lot going on over there. And to make a connection with this person, they don't speak English. So I've had to use a translator. I'm currently making, well, I've got so many projects on the go, Bridget. It's crazy. He was very, very cautious at first and didn't trust me. He thought I was American, and he's a bit funny about Americans. I don't know. It's like, he was very untrusting and worried, but now he's like, I'm all in. I want to raise awareness in Taiwan. And I'm like, oh, I'm so grateful, because I've been wanting to have a contact there to kind of disseminate, for want of another word, the knowledge over there, because he didn't know that Miscavige had lawsuits out against him. He didn't know about all sorts of stuff. It's hard to have a conversation with the translation and everything, but he said, please, you know, because I showed him some of my flyers, because I translated the aftermath cards into Cantonese and everything, showed him that, and we're kind of like, I'm supposed to be amongst many other things, providing some literature in Cantonese for him to print out and give out in Taiwan, which is amazing. And Japan as well. He's got a lot of contacts in Japan that were in Scientology. He revealed one of the a government member in Japan is a Scientologist, and all of this. So I'm like slowly getting to the Asian countries as well.
Everywhere. I mean, there's everywhere. I mean, we saw it in Paris last year with the Summer Olympics. The lady who gave that medal to Tom Cruise, she has some kind of connection with Scientology. So, you know, I'm not surprised. Donald Trump has someone working for him with Scientology connections. It's everywhere.
You know, Yeah.
France. I just said it.
They get in everywhere, Brigitte. That's what they are. That's what their battle plan is. That's what Hubbard taught them in the doctrines, or continues to teach them since the 50s. Is that you get in with the local government, the local, the education, everything. They have to kind of weave their way in and take over, and it's world domination is the ultimate goal. And they even I think somebody was Alex that put up the campaign where they're talking about they want to get Dianetics in over the whole world and everything. And what I like to try and concentrate on places that people forget about, the small countries that are being taken advantage of and exploited. And I uncovered a couple of scams in Africa, in African countries, in Uganda. I don't know if you saw about that.
No.
As a volunteer
I hardly have any time during the week to.
There's a lot, mate. There's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. I see what YouTube pops into my home screen.
Yeah.
So otherwise, I would have to go through everyone that I'm subscribed with. And I would actually never sleep while I'm working.
You're right. That's what I was like.
I come home late, and
when I first came home, I just used to have it on all day and until
exactly.
I do listen to stuff when I'm at work sometimes, but I'm trying to cut down on the screens. But I uncovered so there was a volunteer minister scam. I'll just quickly say, because I probably have to go at about past. There was a volunteer minister scam where they've been recruiting people in African countries online. Asian countries as well, and getting them to join the volunteer ministers, doing the courses online, hooking them up with all these Scientologists all around the world that will send them little donations, and sending, for example, in Africa, a lot of the places, they don't even have books to read to teach the children. And that's another project that I have to get started. I promised my friend, I did an interview with a guy sorry, I'm trying to stick to one story and then I'm going. The Uganda one, basically there was a guy that was working with the volunteer ministers. He left and he's told his story. I interviewed him, and they were telling him to stage photograph. Well, he did do it for a while, and then he stopped. He couldn't do it. He said, this is wrong, and he left. They were supposed to pay him for teaching the kids English. He did it for a couple of months, and then he left because they were getting him to take photos of the kids doing the TRs and then changing their outfits and putting them in a different setting and, doing all these fake PR photos, and then asking for donations and for seeds and to buy chickens and cows and medical supplies and all of this stuff, saying that they were growing their own crops when it wasn't. It was this guy's farm, and these Scientologists, they're ripping off their own. This is one Scientologist lady that was arranging this. They're sending her thousands of dollars. They built an orphanage. The orphanage didn't exist.
Oh.
And they're spending thousands of dollars to build an orphanage. So there was that one. Then in Ghana, beautiful guy. I reached out to him. He listened to everything I said. I've also done an interview with him. He has a piece of land, and he'd agreed to build an applied scholastics and a church on his land in Ghana. And he said, thanks to me, he pulled out of everything. That's when he goes, oh, I'm so glad I met you, And he also was sent a Sea Org. He was going to join the Sea Org. He was sent the contract. He's going to find it for me. He was going to join the Sea Org, and luckily his visa got denied. He was going to go over to bloody Flag. He was going over to the US. So, and he's an incredible man. He has his own charity, and that's going to be another project at some point. I promised him I would get some books together and send them over for the children, and maybe some school supplies and stuff like that. So I think it'll be easy to get donations for that, like sending the supplies, but it's the postage from Australia to Ghana, which is going to be the whopper. So I may at some point start a GoFundMe just to go towards the postage. I'll get all the supplies and everything. I've even got like heaps of supplies left over from my son's school years, you know, as they go into the next year, and you end up accumulating lots of stationery and stuff. So, and sometimes the school, you know, they update all their books and things, and I'll be able to get, you know, there's lots of free Facebook groups and stuff like that, but it's just the postage. Because I mean, I'll ask them what else they need, maybe clothes and things like that. That's one thing I really enjoy doing as well. It's so easy to do when people are in such a throwaway society, you know, like every time I go to Bali, which is only 3.5 hours away, I was talking about it before. I'll always take 2 suitcases, one with my stuff in it, and then one full of clothes for the kids. And then I'm in touch with a couple of organizations over there where they actually take the donations right up into the jungles where no one reaches, to little villages there where they can actually get the supplies to, you know, they've got lots of orphans and kids that, you know, don't have a lot and stuff. So I don't like, you know, because over here, I don't know what it's like there, but over here the charity shops are really expensive and they're making a lot of money, you know.
Ours are getting more expensive as well. I mean,
I'd rather give it to someone for free than like try and give stuff away for free and then, do you know what I mean? Then give it to I know it might sound mean, but here they have too many donations. They have a whole warehouse full of donations. Whereas in the UK, I've noticed they're asking for donations. They have signs in the windows saying they need more donations. But here in Australia, there's an absolute surplus of donations, you know? So yeah, sorry, that was a massive tangent. So that's a bit about what I do. But can I just say, I'm sorry, I'll stop talking if you want me to.
No, go on.
I'm just going to get it all out while I've got it in my head. So the last, well, not one of the other main things I'm meant to be doing, I did start doing, and I will get back round to it at some point, is I've got a campaign for the CoS UK stuff. And that's what you wanted to know about, wasn't it?
Yes. I was just going to say, can we move into that? So it's just time and perfect.
Yeah. All right. So basically, hang on a minute. The bloody rug's all curling up. So basically, in the UK, Scientology doesn't have charity status. They've been denied charitable status.
Yes.
And they've reapplied for it and they've been denied again and everything. So what they've done is they've found a little loophole. They've registered a company in Adelaide, Australia, because and they've registered a charity, and it's called CoS UK. So the church, it stands for the Church of Scientology Religious Education Incorporated, Religious College Incorporated, or whatever, right? CoS UK. And it's registered in Adelaide, but it does nothing in Australia. Nothing. It doesn't benefit the Australian taxpayers.
It's registered as a charity in Australia, but they don't do any charitable work.
No, not in Australia. It funds everything in the UK. So all of the buildings, most of the buildings in the UK,
like the building they bought 6 years ago now in Edinburgh, was funded by them, right?
Yeah, well, not funded, but it's bought by the obviously paid for by the parishioners, tax-free, you know.
Yes.
So through that loophole. So in 2010, this I don't know if you know about Senator Xenophon and the whole big campaign where they tried to get an inquiry launched around Anonymous Days. They had a South Australian senator here who teamed up with Brian Seymour and Steve Kinane. Brian Seymour he was massive in 7 News. He's been out in LA. He's done interviews with Tommy Davis and all of that. He was in the news all the time in Australia. And was really pushing for an inquiry. He had 7 people that had left Scientology and been through serious abuse. One of them had 2 daughters that died. There was a guy that was up working with David Miscavige. These 7 survivors had all of their stories, had like just constantly on their case, so much evidence, got it to Parliament and everything, you know, asked for it to be made into an inquiry, and they were denied. He was denied. And I couldn't believe it. But he also try to do something about CoS UK. He wrote to the tax office, the Australian tax office, and I'm not sure what happened. I can't find any info, but obviously it didn't. Nothing happened. Brian Seymour, the reporter, he wrote to the Australian charities thingy, so the ACNC, and they said they don't have enough resources to investigate it. But things have changed now. I've been onto the ACNC's website, and it says, they've got a list of all these things that places they've investigated. So I thought, okay, maybe they have the resources now. So I've started a campaign. I've started a petition, which I would love anyone from around the world can sign it just to show the interest, but mainly Aussie.
I will show in a minute how to get there, so that everyone and everyone around the world can sign this petition, right?
Yeah, why not? I think the amount of signatures will show the interest in it.
Yes.
But mainly, obviously, the Australians are the ones that can do something about something that's going on in Australia. So, but yeah, just as many signatures as possible. So I've actually got, damn it, I don't have them with me. I have flyers, and I've been going out a couple of times a week and posting flyers in letterboxes. And I actually have a printable. I have a link so you can print out your own flyers if people would like to help in Australia. There's no point. I don't think there's much point doing it in other countries. Maybe the UK, because it kind of affects the UK. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. We're in Australia.
If the buildings that have been bought in the past around the UK was actually funded by them and not by Scientology UK, then fair enough, it's not us, the UK taxpayer, paying. But if we can, as the UK citizen, stop it, we wouldn't have this building standing there empty for so many years. Fair enough, it's not Clearwater, but it's still buildings that are empty, and so many things could be done with those buildings.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the building in Manchester, the old distillery that's been empty for what, bloody 20 years or something. I know they've started work on it now, but you've got the one in Gateshead, you've got the one in Plymouth, which is just falling apart. These historical buildings that are just being left to rot. And but the thing is the Australian taxpayers are carrying the burden of the UK operations, and that's not okay. That's abusing the, it's abusing a loophole, so. Even if it doesn't come to anything, I think it's important to try and get it investigated. Absolutely. So I'm going to, I don't know how long I'm going to keep the petition open for. Try and get as many signatures as possible. Maybe if it doesn't really matter, we've got time, haven't we? So get a heap of signatures, and then I'll write a letter.
I can also add the link to the petition in the calls for action on the resource page of fsciencepro.space. So there's another place they can go. I just want to quickly show everyone. Let's see if I can do that correctly this time.
Bloody technology, eh? I'll just have a swig of my Captain Davies too.
Let me see. I just need to check if you guys can see. So if you go to updates, you can see that I have added 2 flyers that actually T provided us. So you can see in category SPTV community sourced. And so if we go down here, if you click on this, it will take you. Now, let me check. Can you see? Yeah. And then Aussie taxpayers flyers. So if you double click on that, you get then this flyer. So if you actually scan the QR codes, you will be taken somewhere. So the one that I have up, because there are 2 QR codes.
One's for the Change.org petition, and then the other one is to a Facebook page that I made that has information on it about CoS UK, explaining it. I need to update that and write some more stuff, and
it's this
just kind of just put it together in 10 minutes. But and then have a link there as well.
So I've seen this Facebook page is quite new.
Yes. I think
well,
I need to. I've just copied and pasted a load of paragraphs, so I think I need to make some like infographics to make it a bit clearer, because I just kind of put it together really quickly. But it's just in case anyone wanted more info. I didn't want to put too much info on the flyer. I wanted to keep it simple, you know.
Yes.
Oh.
Can you see? No, you can't see what I'm seeing, right?
You go to the top of the page that you're looking at and then say share instead. It should have a blue button saying share this instead.
Give me a second. No, it just says stop sharing. Give me a second. We'll do it differently.
While you do that, I'll look at. Do you want me to read out some starred comments?
You
So
go on. Yes.
Oh yeah, so Amy M, yeah, I've seen you have a short on your channel of all the CCR locations. If anyone's interested in that, please check out Amy M. And Amy does some great work speaking out at the meetings in LA. Joe, I've read that I've said you about the hair and stuff. Oh yeah, there's my Facebook page.
Yeah. And this post from the 6th of May, that takes you to the petition.
Yes. Yeah. So you got the QR code and the link at the top there as well, above that black graphic there. Yeah. And I also have my Facebook group, Voice Down Under. For anyone in Australia or wants to know if there's any upcoming protests and stuff, I'll advertise them there. But it's a private group. I don't want any older Tom, Dick, or Harry coming in there and undercover people. So you have to answer a question before you come in there.
Is it a Voice Down Under? Yeah.
No, it's not that one.
No.
It is called A Voice Down Under, but it's got my logo. I think down under's one word.
That's why.
Yeah. That's it there. Why is that coming up as... Oh, you're in it already. That's why I thought, oh, it's coming up and showing it. Yeah, that's it there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've got a Facebook group there. I've got some lovely people sending me things from the different orgs and things, which is awesome. Now Osa's probably having a good look because I know Osa watches my streams. Brexit was effing stupid. I agree. Oh, so also for the Australians, there's been a Victorian inquiry launched looking into the recruitment processes for coercive control groups and cults and things like that. And you can make a public, what's it called? Like you can go in there and do a little questionnaire and then make a public comment about that. And also for survivors of cults and things, you can go in there and share your story. You know, and that would really, really help if you tell your detailed story and stuff. They can understand what's going on behind the scenes and stuff, and hopefully get some legislation changed. So that's going on as well. Lots of things going on, and I'm also trying to cover a lot of stories. I've got my list of names of people that lives have been cut short because of Scientology. So you've got a lot of people that have reached the OT levels and have gotten cancer and have refused treatment because they've been told that their OT powers and auditing can cure them, and they've died younger than they should have died. You know, with cancer, they could have maybe survived if they got the treatment. People that have died, you know, from unaliving themselves, suspicious deaths, things like that. So I've got a whole list. I think it's over 260 names. But I want to put that into the categories of, you know, and do videos on as many of those stories as I can, which is going to be a lot. But then I'm also trying to cover stories that have happened in Australia, just to kind of get the word out of, you know, the history of Scientology in Australia, all the news articles as well. And then, yeah, just heaps and heaps of stuff. And I don't get that much time. So yeah. And there's Lara's comments. Oh yeah, and Scientology actually put a small electric current in the e-meter, which also induces the effect along with the witchcraft. Yeah, you've got all the satanic stuff. I'm actually, that's another thing I'm working on, is a series on the hypnotic. So Hubbard's the first episode is Hubbard's history with hypnosis, how he first started using hypnosis and learning it, and how he adapted it into Dianetics and all of that. Then the next episode will be about Dianetics and the hypnotic properties of that. And then going in, I want to eventually go into each level, you know, the TRs, and go up the bridge and explain each part and how the hypnosis works and everything. So that's like pretty deep. That is a work in progress. And then, I'm not going to keep going on about projects because there's lots. Sorry, Bridget, I'm just blabbering away.
Okay.
I'm on a mad one today. Let's see. Oh, so Brigitte, if you for your hair, if you try mixing developer before you put the pink on, it can help your hair absorb more of the color, and putting a shower cap over your hair to create a heat barrier during the process.
Oh, you know that within the next 5 minutes, I will already have forgotten about it. But actually,
no. Sorry, I just saw something. Amy,
go on, share.
Amy said I need to change. My handle needs to be changed on the F Sciento site. I'm not showing up live because I changed my name.
Yeah, you will need to double check with Fluffer, Skrill,
Okay.
or I can actually message her through WhatsApp. It will be quicker to check.
Okay.
Probably your old handle is on the F Sciento space.
Yeah,
So
I changed it from
hashtag F Sciento or hashtag Scientology. You might not appear as live.
No. Okay.
So I'll
Right,
message her and ask her to check it over, and
That would be
if
awesome.
it's the
Thank
old
you.
one, to add your new one. Yep.
Yes, thank you. And for anyone that hasn't checked out F Sciento, it's fsciento.space. You can go there and see which protesters are live, and the various resources and stuff. And there's a list of people that protest and things. Yeah, sorry, just plugging you.
You go.
I'm really chatty tonight, aren't I? Oh dear. Oh, is there an exact spot? Laura says, is there an exact spot or link you can print it out? Not yet. I can do that though. What can I put it on? It's in my community posts. If you want to scroll down, it's not that far down, and you can copy and paste it if you want. But they're not in the categories yet. I'm also working on a big kind of not tribute, like a tribute when you for people that have passed, like a memorial for all of them, and there's a lot of names, and I've been working on that as well. Yeah, so yeah, lots and lots of things going on.
Wow,
Done.
you are like relentless.
Oh God, here we go. My boy's starting again. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna have to
No.
get
I'll
off.
go away. I'll go away.
But yeah, I think I covered everything. So unless there's anything else.
What is important, everyone, go and sign the petition.
Just
I
share
tried to
everybody's
put it in the chat, but it cut the link because it's so long. So I will add it to the description afterwards.
Yes, it's on my community posts as well. All the stuff that I've spoken about. I think the Victorian inquiry, the petition, the list. It's all on my community posts there. If you just scroll down and stuff.
And again, if you go to fsciento.space, if you want to check out the resources, which I'm the managing editor of it, you just click on the top. Let me just check again, because resources, the tab is called resources, and then you go to recently added, and it takes you to the page, the resource page.
Thanks, Joe. I've also got in the description of my channel description, I've got all my links for different social medias, and I think I've got the petition in there as well. So, and I normally add it to the description, but I don't know, for some reason, I haven't done a live with someone for so long, I forgot whether I had to do my description or not, and I haven't done it, but I will update it later if I remember.
I have tendency, when I create the stream in advance, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to write, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I just write one line or two lines, and then I go and amend
Go
it
back afterwards.
afterwards,
Yeah.
because it never. Actually, I don't mind when the lives or the interviews don't go the way I imagined beforehand, because it's much better in the end how it turned out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I always say I'm just winging it like my eyeliner. I'm just winging it.
You see, I never put eyeliner on. You know why? Because I
Why?
start to shake. I
Oh,
can't.
so I just go like that when I do it and just go.
I can't do. I have two left hands when it comes to makeup.
I'm left-handed. No excuse.
No, I mean I
I'll
have
come.
two left hands. I really.
I'm
Uh,
joking.
I can
I'll
do
come
the
and do it.
mascara. I
I'll
can
come and
do.
do it for you when I come to Edinburgh. I'll come and put some
Yeah,
eyeliner on, and then we can just wing
and
it
as
together.
well.
In
Look,
Edinburgh.
this eye. I have a. You see my sagging eyelid, which this one I don't. But this one. So every morning I'm massaging it,
Oh
hoping
God.
it will go back up. And they say, "Oh, you can have an operation," and they cut, and I'm like, "No one cut my
Yeah.
eyelids."
What are we going to do with you, Brigitte? We'll just have to, we're going to come up and get a wheelchair and some eyeliner and maybe some sticky tape, and we can like.
You
You know,
know,
sticky
I
tape.
bought some. It exists. I bought some on Amazon. It exists, and then you can do the makeup over it. But it's so uncomfortable that I had to take it off. It is so
Yeah.
uncomfortable. It's not as, it's nearly like a plastic you're putting on your eyelid. It's not.
Yeah, I know what you
Unless
mean.
I I ordered some that were not exactly
You
what.
are beautiful as you are, and it gets. I think as you get older as well. Like, I mean, I'm not. I'm a little bit younger than you. 44 this year though, and I
Oh
think it
my
gets to the
God,
point
you
where
are old.
But it
Oh,
gets to the point. I think that I'm imagining the older and older you get, the less you give a shit, because it's you just become comfortable in yourself. You don't. I think the less you give a crap about what other people think, the happier you are, and just if
yeah,
people don't like it, then it's on them.
I have to
Yeah,
say, since I don't give a toss what people think about me, I'm much, much happier.
yeah,
And, I have my opinions like everyone else. I don't always share them with everyone, or certainly not online, because I see what it can do to some streamers. And some streamers have done it over and over again, and they haven't learned their lessons. So um, I don't want to learn my lessons. I prevent my lessons not.
I'm not saying a word, mate. Not saying a word.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying any names, but
I
I
know.
learned through. I learned through other streamers doing their mistakes. So I'm not saying I don't make mistakes. I probably
Oh,
do
we
it.
all, no one's perfect. All our shit smells the same at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And I
No,
think if you're, if sorry, that wasn't a very elegant way to put it, but
doesn't matter.
I can be elegant when I have to be. But at the end of the day, look, you gotta think, why are you here? And the people, I don't know, the people that know who you are and are there for the same reason, you'll flock together, won't you? And the people that are with the drama, they can just they can just get on with it if that's what they need to do to get through life and make themselves feel better about themselves. It just says what sort of person they are. So whatever, crack on. Just stay true to yourself and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I think what all of the people that I have, that I know, and I mean, not met in person, but met through this community, are
Yeah,
doing a great job. The people that are supporting us are amazing.
yeah,
I try not to forget to tell them every time I'm live, because it's important. Um, and look, I'm like everyone else. I want to have more subscribers, but I'm happy with the ones I have. I love having good laughs when I do lives. We don't always talk about Scientology if there's nothing to say about it. Um, 2 weeks ago, I was really down. I came online and I said, I'm sorry, I'm shit. And everyone's saying, let it out. Come on, let it out. And I could talk about it. And
Do
then
you know what's good for that? You know where is a good place for that is Mental Health Matters, and you can just go on and, you know, I've gone on there and had a bitch before and gone, oh, I'm just sick of this person and rah, rah, rah. And they're so open. It's a really safe place to go. Like all people are accepted, and they'll talk through it with you, you know. And yes, it's online. If you don't want to do it online, they also have they have a Facebook group as well, and they have all these different chats, you know, loads of different categories. You can talk about autism, ADHD, anxiety, grief. And if there isn't the category there that you need to talk about, they'll make one for you, you know, and there's people from all different places around the world. So there's always support there, you know.
Until I lost my job last year, I never knew what depression is. I never knew what anxiety is.
Yeah.
And now I know all about it, you know. And I have difficulties because I always fought through my life, and I showed a hard cookie in most instances of my life. I mean, you know, I left a man who tried to kill me. And I never looked, well, yes, I did look back, but once or twice. But and that, yeah, he's also the reason I never want to go back living with a man.
Oh,
But
no. So
being in love, I don't mind. But living, no, I'd rather have my 2 dogs and my cat, you know, and they do truly love me.
yeah.
Um,
I hear
but
you.
it's
I've
difficult
been
for me
single for
because I've been a tough cookie all my life, and then suddenly all this crumbled.
yeah.
You know, I went through lots of things in my life. I've been bullied a lot because of my height, and you know, I bullied back. I just bullied people back, you know.
Yeah.
But then suddenly at 58, everything came crashing down, and I started to have to see a therapist. And the therapist said to me, well, you have a lot of past trauma to go through. That's why you, and I'm like, no, I have no past trauma. And
This
then
is
he
what I
goes,
was saying earlier. Didn't I say, you know, it goes unaddressed, and a lot of people don't realize they do have
yeah,
trauma. They're like, oh, that was just, I didn't know that I had abandonment issues until a year ago. I didn't know I had abandonment issues. And then when we discovered it through like sort of semi-hypnosis and all sorts of stuff with this amazing therapist, and she said it's abandonment issues. And then when she explained, like, my whole life made sense. And that is why I went on and had abusive relationships and this, that, and the other. The self-worth, the devastation when somebody breaks my heart and not being able to let go and all of that, you know, it's all abandonment issues. And I was like, bloody hell, you know, I didn't know,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I
No,
thought
I
my
didn't
trauma
know
was from that
either.
abuse.
But I fought the therapist for quite a while. I said, no, I don't have past traumas. No, no, no. And then little by little, he made me understand certain things that I told him about my life. And he
Yeah.
says, the one thing you have no trauma about, which for someone in a normal situation would find that a past trauma or a continuous trauma, is your height. But for you, this is not a trauma. It's other things in your past life that is traumatic, that have been traumatic. And it took him a long, long time for me to acknowledge these,
Yeah.
especially
It's
the one from my ex-husband, which is actually, you know, the newest, because that was 12 years ago. You know, I came to Edinburgh. We were already married but not living together. I left an extremely well-paid job in England, moved to Edinburgh, and within not even a few months, he tried to kill me because he was drunk.
I'm sorry, man. Was
So
it
my
Scottish?
dog, I
He
took
was
my
Scottish.
dog and I left. Oh yes, he's Scottish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not working, drinking.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I'm glad
and
you left straight away, you know. And then was it just that one time, or was it building up?
well, it was more. prior to that, it was more verbal and mental abuse in a sense, not heavy, but I just took it. And but what I'm proud of is that actually I never let my money go. Because he always thought he was entitled to this and that. And I said, I put my foot down because I worked hard since the age of 16 and no one takes my bloody money. And now, 12 years later, I'm even more greedy than I was then.
That's not greedy. You always have a backup plan, you know? And that's for both sides, the man and the woman. Always, you know, you have to protect yourself. But yeah, I'm so sorry. I have to go. It's 20 to 11 and I've got to put my boy can't get to sleep without me. So I have to.
He doesn't want to go to sleep.
Did you hear him? No, he just wants me to go to bed. So yeah. But I would love to chat to you again. And if you ever if you ever feel down or anxious, please just reach out to me on Facebook or.
I'm getting better, but it has affected everyone. Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, we know how to communicate, and we'd love to chat with you again.
Yeah, it's been nice. I feel like it's gone so quickly, but it you know, because
I'm brilliant. Thank you so much.
We'll sorry, didn't get a word in edgeways.
No, it's okay. Some people are happy not to have to constantly hear me, you know.
I've been the last few days, I've just been really, really on top of the world and happy and hyper and just talking loads and feeling really positive. So I'm enjoying it. So, but yeah, anyway, thank you. And thank you to everyone who's watching on my channel and Brigitte's channel. And yeah, sub everyone up. And all support each other. Grow this community.
All the mods that have been helpful.
Yes.
And please, as well, for the ones that are not subscribed to T's channel, nor to mine, please subscribe. It doesn't cost you a penny or a cent. And send some love to our like buttons. I have noticed lately I have more viewers than likes. Please like our lives and videos, please.
Yes, please. Let's get that algorithm going and grow this community and get this awareness out and take this disgusting human trafficking abusive cult down. Let's do it.
Yes.
You know, and yeah. Anyway, I hate goodbyes.
Good night to a lovely young man, and I'll speak to you soon, T, okay?
Okay, and I will go through the live chat afterwards because I know everyone's been talking and I haven't been reading it, so I'll go through it.
Last week it took quite a long time for the chat transcript to upload to YouTube, so it might take the 12 hours. Perhaps not today, I don't know.
All right, everyone. Good night, good morning to everyone, good afternoon, and take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Go.
Is it gone?
Put your boy to sleep.
Oh, I've got to press leave the studio, am I? What am I going to do? Am I still there?
I'm going to chuck you out.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.